Hi, this is Olga from My Crochet Space, and today I would like to show you how to crochet the thermal stitch half double crochet. So I've done a few videos before with single crochets, thermal stitch, single crochet, and thermal stitch half double crochet as well, which looks like that. And this one is a different version of the half double crochets here. So these are thermal half double crochets as well, same as this. It just looks a little bit different. As you can see the lines here between the rows, and here they're not there. I will show you today this version. So let's start. I have 100% cotton yarn here. This is 10 ply or worsted weight yarn number 4, and I've got a 5mm hook. So I have a written pattern for this pot holder, but I will show you a smaller version just to show you the stitch, and you can easily adjust the size by chaining less or more, and also the amount of rows you would like to make here. So the more rows, the longer it gets. So for these demonstration purposes, I will chain 10. So it will be just like a mini version of this pot holder. So that's 10. Then yarn over, we are working half double crochets in the first row, just normal half double crochets, and we will go into the third chain. So this is chain number 1, 2, 3, third chain from the hook, insert your hook into the third chain and just work a half double crochet and continue across the row. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 8 half double crochets in this row. Now we continue to the second row, chain 2, 1, 2, yarn over and insert your hook into the back loop only, which is this one, into the first stitch, back loop only, and into that first chain stitch, the unworked chain stitch. So I like to just insert my hook here, and there are 2 strings, as you can see here, plus the 2 chain loops, and work a half double crochet as normal through those stitches. So you pull up a loop and yarn over again, pull through all loops. That's our first thermal half double crochet. Yarn over again, and now we're gonna work into the next one, which is this one. So as you can see, this one's already been worked into, and that's the second stitch. Insert your hook into the second stitch, back loop only, and the chain loops from the row below. And again the next back loop and the corresponding chain loops from the row below, and continue until the end of this row. and this is the last stitch in this row. You should have 8 stitches in total. And chain 2 again for the next row. And again, we're going to connect the back loops with the previous row. And that's how we create the thickness and the texture as well. Make sure that you have the same amount of stitches in every row. In this case we have 8, so it will stay 8 stitches in every row. The trickiest part here is to find the right stitches, so we always chain 2 in the beginning of the row, then it's 8 stitches. I always count the current row to make sure that there are 8 stitches, and also starting from the end of the previous row, that would be the last stitch, I count 8 stitches towards the beginning of the row to know which stitch is it actually the first one, because sometimes, especially in the beginning, it may be confusing and it's easy to skip stitches or to crochet into the wrong stitch. So let's start the next row. Insert your hook into the first back loop and the first unworked loop in the previous row, and work a half double crochet. Now again, yarn over, insert your hook into the second back loop and the second unworked loop in the previous row, which is this one, and work a half double crochet. And again, the third back loop and the third unworked loop in the previous row, half double crochet, and continue working thermal stitches until the end of this row. And the last stitch. Now just count if you have the same amount of stitches as in the previous row, just to make sure you didn't skip any stitches, as it can happen very easily in the beginning. Now here we have done a couple of rows already. Now you can see the stitches more clearly in the previous row. So that's stitch number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's the first stitch here, and chain 2 again. We always chain 2 in the beginning and connect the back loop with the first loop, unworked loop in the previous row. And into the second loop again, and into every single stitch in this row, and just repeat this pattern until you reach the desired size of your pot holder or whatever you are making.
Make sure you don't skip the last stitch. Sometimes it's hard to see because it's covered by the turning chain. And this is our first stitch here. Here you can see how the pattern is starting to emerge, and it's so much easier to see all the stitches that you have to work into, the top loops in the previous row, and you can continue with this pattern until you reach the desired size. And I'll see you at the end to show you the last row, how to finish up your project.
So here I will show you the last row and also the loop, how you can make the loop here and finish off here. As I said, you make it as big as you like by chaining more and just working more rows. So now we just make a loop first. I chain 15 normally to make this loop for a normal pot holder size. I will chain 10 here because we don't need that such a big loop. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you've got 10. Insert your stitch under the front and back loop, the first stitch. And the same thing as before, the first loop in the row below, and slip stitch all together. And continue across the row into here under both loops and here. And the last one here, slip stitch, and that's all. I hope you like this video demonstration, and I hope you enjoy making your pot holder.